And that's 27 News First for this half hour. Still to come at 6, the waiting game continues for 4 co-defendants charged with laundering drug money.
The Frankfort grand jury hears from the man who's investigating the state agriculture department. And a McGoffin man is found guilty of sexually abusing his grandchildren.
I'm Charles Fortney. What could be a very expensive race for Lexington government's number 2 job is already heating up. That story up next on 27 News First.
It could be an expensive race for the number 2 position in Lexington government.
The vice mayor's job takes on added significance since voters will be electing the position for the first time. Charles Fortney joins us now with a look at the race and why it's spelling dollar signs for advertisers.
Well, Barbara and Sam, there are 6 people vying for 3 at-large council seats on the Urban County Council. The top vote getter becomes the vice mayor. Not all the candidates are seeking that number 2 job, however. We start the first of 2 reports with a look at 3 candidates who are cutting their political teeth on this race.
The 3 non-council members vying for a seat are all first-timers in the political field. 50-year-old Jerry Young is relying on the phone and friends to turn out the vote. Young, who is blind, plans to raise and spend $5,000 to $10,000.
It's not going to be done by spending a lot of money because there's a lot of us out here who think it's rather ludicrous to spend that kind of money. And I'm counting on those kind of people who don't have that kind of money to spend and think it is ludicrous to vote for me.
50-year-old Lewis Stout ran for school board 8 years ago, but he considers this his first race. Stout also says he's running a frugal campaign. Will spend $25,000 to $30,000. He says he'll pick and choose which media he'll use and rely on face-to-face contact.
The history of Lexington politics, in my estimation, has not been determined by how much of the media you use, as more so as how much of the individual attention you can give the people who are voting for you. You know, the media is important, and I don't want that misunderstood, but, you know, I think the individual contact is just as important.
Local attorney Teresa Isaac hopes her civic involvement gives her a leg up in the race. She won't give a definite amount for campaign spending, but the 34-year-old Isaac is using an advertising agency to help get her message across.
I think the voters expect that. I know when I've gone out and talked to people in the community, they understand my background, they understand my qualifications, but a lot of them still say, I want to see you on TV.
The numbers also say something about advertising in the media. 4 years ago, the 3 council winners spent $206,000 on their campaigns. This year, by the estimates of all 6 candidates, the amount could top $300,000.
If you don't buy a certain amount, you shouldn't buy any because it will not penetrate the minds of the viewers. But it depends on the campaign, really. But you're talking about 5 figures. It's pretty tough to buy less than 5 figures and be effective.
Tomorrow night, we talked with the current vice mayor, a former vice mayor who wants to be in that job again, and the district council member who wants a shot at an at-large seat and the vice mayor's chair at the same time. Barbara, Sam?
And again, Charles, this is different this year around. Why for the vice mayor?
Because in the past, the council has chosen the vice mayor from the 3 at-large council members. This year, the voters are doing that.
Okay. Thank you. Barbara?
A 3-day work stoppage at Arch of Kentucky Mines is now
suspended from baseball, and 6 Lexington candidates are in the running for the at-large contest. We'll finish our profile of the candidates fighting to be vice mayor.
News First, Bourbon County.
And now some politics. Mayor Baesler's interest in the governor's race in 2 years is adding new importance to the vice mayor's job. 6 people are running for 3 at-large council seats. The top vote getter becomes vice mayor. In the second of 2 reports on the candidates, Charles Fortney says those circumstances are causing a lot of money to be shelled out in this race.
I just wanted to make a comment.
Name recognition is still important to Barkley Blevins, Pam Miller, and Dr. Chuck Ellinger, even though all 3 are city council veterans. And all know the stakes are higher in the at-large race this time around. Current Vice Mayor Blevins and former Vice Mayor Miller are openly gunning for the spot next to Scotty Baesler. The 50-year-old Miller says she'll spend about $90,000 in her race. The 56-year-old Blevins may spend $100,000. Both will use ad agencies to help promote their campaigns.
I never used television when I was running a district race. But when you're running at large and you've got to reach all 220,000 people, television is the best way to do it. You can't knock on that many doors. It's physically impossible.
In the 4 years that you're in office, that I've been at large, you do all the things to help the people that they need and respond to. But what the yard signs and the other advertisement does is to just jolt their memory, to tell them that you're still there wanting their help again.
Television advertising ranks down on the campaign list of 55-year-old Dr. Ellinger. Ellinger says he'll spend much less than $100,000, relying instead on more traditional campaigning.
It's difficult to do that in any particular mechanism in just, say, 30 seconds or 1 minute. So in my opinion, it still boils down to the fact that in some method you have to get out to the people.
4 of the 6 candidates say they will use advertising agencies to some extent to help them reach Fayette County's 92,000 voters. But hiring a professional agency for a political campaign can be a two-edged sword.
An ad agency can be more creative. The problem, though, with many ad agencies is they don't understand the mechanics and the dynamics of a political campaign, and they mix a political campaign with retail advertising, and that can be detrimental to the candidate.
Vice mayor candidates are hopeful that the spending will pay off, especially if Mayor Baesler is reelected, then decides to move on to greener political pastures. Charles Fortney, 27 News First.
Governor Wallace Wilkinson has in his hands the names of 3 men, one of whom will be selected as a new